What is going on, everybody? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. I'm streaming on a Friday. Normally, I don't stream on Fridays, and so I don't know. I don't know if anybody's out there right now, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the uh, what just went on. And if you're not aware of what just went on, um, earlier today we got news that um, Phil Spencer was stepping down. Not only that, but we got a little bit other news as well. We got news that Sarah Bond is also stepping down. And so, with that said, AV good. Hey, Amby, what's going on? So, so I wanted to talk about a little bit about this really quick. And I don't think it's gonna be like a long, super long stream, but I did wanna it's to me, it's probably the biggest news in gaming, and I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I think this is the biggest news in gaming since the Sega announcing that they're no longer doing consoles. I'm about to explain, like, 'cause you're like, "Oh, Purple, it's just, um, it's just it's just executive shakeup." And I hear that. But, there's only so many deals or so many pieces of news. I think ABK was pretty big, but and don't get me wrong, that is monumental. But this one's even bigger. And I'm not trying to be like alarmist here on this one. Hey, Rouster, what's going on? I'm not trying to be alarmist on this. But this news that came out regarding Phil Spencer and stepping down, but really around Sarah Bond as well, to me is a seismic shift. And just to be clear, like I would say roughly about 6 months ago, I had called Phil Spencer was going to step down. Like right around the Nintendo launch, I had a video that was kind of saying the end of consoles or something. But the live streams around that time, I had always said, I think Phil Spencer is going to step down in the next like 12 to 18 months. And so that was roughly like I said, about 7 or 8 months ago. And so that to me, that was already known. And then more recently, I predicted that Xbox was going to write off roughly, probably like 12 to 18 billion dollars of the APK deal, which they haven't announced that, but let's call it between friends that they're going to write off probably $15 billion. That hasn't been announced yet. But I had always thought that Xbox's fate is really in the hands of two people, right? And it wasn't Phil Spencer. Like I had already said, like the guy's he's already like shipped off. He doesn't want to be he's going to retire and so forth. But I had always said Xbox's fate is going to really be in between like Sarah Bond and Satya Nadella, and that's for two totally different reasons. Satya Nadella because that's the CEO, and the biggest investments in Xbox happened under his watch. And so if he went, I was almost positive that the next person who would come through wouldn't be like a gaming friendly person. And they would just look at the investment and say, like, maybe it's not worth it. But more important than Satya Nadella, as far as like Xbox's future, more importantly than Satya Nadella, I've always felt that Sarah Bond was even more important. And the reason why I say that is because Sarah Bond it was very apparent that she was the heir apparent for the entire um deal. And but well, you think they're real talk, but we're a gaming channel roster, so I'll talk about both. I'll talk about as far as gaming though, this one's bigger. As far as gaming, this one's way bigger than tariffs, but I may hit on tariffs. Because this news, it's not just two execs. All right. Like when you have an exec step down, like Phil Spencer step down, like, okay, that's kind of the same. You could, Jim Ryan stepping down at PlayStation. It's not really, it's like, okay, it's a big deal, but they're putting 2 co-CEOs in place, so forth and so on. Fine. But when you have the every single figurehead of the brand step down, hey, what's going on? When you have every single figurehead of the brand step down, so we're talking about Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, Matt Booty. Those are the 3 highest people in the Xbox ecosystem. When you have all 3 of them either retiring, taking a demotion, or pivoting to a totally different career, um, that means that's an entirely change in direction. All right. Like in I think what's even more interesting is what happens. So what am I talking about, right? This is news. Xbox is retiring, and in who's coming in to replace him, right? It's this woman, Asha Sharma, right? Um, and I think what you're gonna see here, and no offense to Asha Sharma or whoever put her in charge, but whatever Microsoft Xbox was is no longer that. Like we've known that they were gonna be underneath like some pivot, but this is actually pretty um this is probably a little bit sorry if I my hand really hurts today, y'all. I don't know why. So I'm trying to like stretch it out. But this one is like this is what I believe is going to happen. And I have not been wrong when it comes to Microsoft. The only thing I was wrong about when it came to Microsoft was I thought they would realize that buying APK was like a dumb idea. That's the only thing I was not. That's the only thing I've been wrong with when it comes to Microsoft. But she's coming in. Everybody's like, "Oh, she has no gaming experience," or people are. We're gonna get to some tweets, or some. I don't know what you call them on X. We're gonna get to some of that, but they're like, she has no gaming experience, and I want to let people know that's a feature, not a bug. Like this person was not. She's not being brought in to reinvent Xbox. And this is going to be a central theme you hear throughout this stream. This person was brought in. Let me be very 100% clear with you. This person was brought in to euthanize Xbox. There is no doubt in my mind that Xbox is about to receive massive layoffs. And you're like, "Well, Purple, give her a chance. We'll see what." No, like, I'm sorry. Like, we've been here down this road enough times. Like, I actually think Game Pass might be on the chopping block. I'm dead serious. And the reason I say that is when you replace, like I said, it's not so much Phil Spencer. Like, he was going to retire. But what it is really Sarah Bond. She was the heir apparent, right? And Matt Booty, he was kind of like, if you think about it, you had like the aging, the top leader, the heir apparent, and then the legacy knowledge in Matt Booty. Like that's kind of like your leadership team, right? Like that's how they were gonna like um balance the ship through a transition. And if you think about it, who were the biggest voices for Xbox over like the last 5 years? Like whether it's the APK deal, whether it was like any new types of games coming out, whether it was like any like the technology, the direction, it's those 3 people. Yeah, you may say like, oh, it's the head of Bethesda, but the Bethesda is a different. That's a studio. That's a like that's totally different. Like they're a GM for sure, but they're not the head. If you actually think about who the head figureheads were, it's those 3 people. So when you get rid of those 3 people, and this is any company, by the way, When you see this move happen, like when you see this move happen anywhere else, hey, thank you, Amby. Like, just look at this pattern. When you see this move anywhere else, when the not only the head, but the whole legacy is gone, you're going in a totally different direction. They want nothing anything you put your hands on, anything you put your fingerprints on is on the chopping block. Think about it in sports. If the general manager gets let go, like I'm not saying like the general manager steps away and then goes becomes a general manager somewhere else, or the general manager steps away and like comes is the coach. I'm talking like the general manager like gets fired. What's soon to happen after that? The coach is going to get fired, right? And what's going to happen after that? Oh, whoever your star player is, they're about to leave too, right? Because you when you have like the sports is easy to see because like usually the star player is there because like the GM wanted them there and the coach can then coach that star player and then you can do something. So when you get rid of like all of them in one swoop, yeah, whatever identity you were building over the last like let's be very honest, whatever identity you were building over the last 5 to 6 years is no longer your identity. Some people would be like, "Oh, cool, she's gonna go back to the roots of it." No, no. If that was the case, they would have brought in someone from like they would have brought in someone from like their bench, right? They would have brought in someone who was like an Xbox person. They would have probably kept Matt Booty in seat. They would have probably kept doing all that. But that's not what's happening. This person is there to literally turn Xbox into some generative AI experiment. That's what they're there for. And hopefully to monetize this into something that can do so. Like, don't get me wrong, all of the tech world is about to go through the same thing because all of their investments are not going to pay off nearly as much as they're putting into it. Like all of that, like whatever, maybe Ron, I see you there. I don't know what it is. But Xbox, whatever you thought of Xbox before, it is not that. Like everybody, like I was talking to Crazy Louie, and he's like, "Well, they still have the deal with AMD." What deal? What deal? That they're licensing out the Xbox name? That deal? Okay. That the deal. That's like this is reminds me when Stadia was like talking about oh the white label, right? Like I've been like we've seen this at a much smaller scale. But no, this person has been brought in, like I said, she's gonna clean house. When you bring in like a new CEO, the the best way a CEO actually gets their like credentials in corporate is they're the ones who carry out the like cutting. This is not like me trying to like get you scared or anything, but if a new CEO comes and they're from outside, they're not there to rally the troops. They're not there to be like, "Oh, we've been through hard times before." This is someone who's like, "I have no emotional attachment to what I'm about to do now." You gotta think about it. They got rid of the legacy knowledge, the heir apparent, and the former CEO. Like, this isn't like, "Oh, this person's gonna stay on through the transition." No, they cleaned out. And I can already tell you what the forcing function was. The forcing function is exactly what I told you before about the ABK deal. They're gonna have to write off around, like I said, 12 to $18 billion. So let's call it 15 billion in general. They're gonna have to write that off. Someone's gonna have to pay for that $15 billion. That's a $15 billion. Like, you realize $15 billion? I believe that's the like market cap to put you in the Fortune 500. They're going to focus on software first and console. I don't even think she's going to focus on console anything. I don't even think she's going to focus on software. That lady is going to focus on what can we use generative AI for? Like if you look at the Microsoft Xbox stack for cloud, they're going to look at that stack. They're going to look at all of like everything they're utilizing, and they're going to say, what can we do to create a generative AI powerhouse that we can then sell to consumers? That's what she's going to do. And she's any game that like people are like, oh, this game's going to go. I'm telling you, Fable is not in the future of Microsoft. Elder Scrolls is not in the future of Microsoft. You want me to like when you listen to Microsoft execs talk, like I'm talking like Amy Hood, the CFO, or I'm talking about Satya Nadella, or I'm talking about that other co-CEO. I never can remember his name. When you hear them talk, do you think they're talking about Fable? No. They're talking about spending, I think it was $110 billion on AI. Matter of fact, go to look at what Satya Nadella said earlier this week in India. He said we're going to spend $50 billion on AI in India, building data centers. That's where their focus is. Getting into the fast food market, might as well. They might as well. Like I think so many people. Let's look at some of these. Let's look at some of these comments because I think people are totally missing. They're totally missing the thing. Xbox gamers must come first. Show us why we still use. Look, I felt so bad for this person. I feel so bad for this person because I'm like, you don't get it. It's not about gamers. You think these people care about you playing a game? You know, I was talking about on my Shades of Purple, not this week, but the one before. I was talking about people in power, like corporations. They don't care that whether or not Johnny or Sally or whatever your kids' names are, they don't care if y'all play a game. They care about do you make them money? And you're not making them as much money as this person over here. That's what they care about. They're not trying to they're not there for your enjoyment. You're there for their enrichment. You see that? Like companies sometimes can do this where they're like, "Hey, we're there for your well-being and stuff, and if your well-being helps us, we're in a good relationship." But I've mentioned this before when we look at Xbox console sales and we look at that the mobile store never picked up. We look at all these different things. You didn't keep up with your end of the bargain. Well, let me preference that. Xbox gamers kept up with their end of the bargain. Microsoft just had expectations that you could never meet. We could never meet. And once it became apparent that gaming as a whole isn't really growing, and the only places it's growing are places that Xbox isn't at. And oh, by the way, this stuff is getting more expensive, and we have another big shiny thing that we want to spend money on over there. As soon as that became apparent, the train had already left the station. So let's look at some more because there's a whole bunch of these. Remember, Xbox is global. Global means center, not left, not right. Let people up. It's like this person doesn't even get it. Let people upload their own games, just like Steam lets them. Only make one Xbox. Make sure it's cheap. Do not integrate AI. Match Steam discounts. You kidding me? These people don't get it. They're not there. Like, match Steam discounts? Not integrate AI? What are you talking about? It's not about center or left. Like you're still in this mind. People are still thinking that there's actually this like politics, like go woke, go broken games. They actually think that. They think that's what this is about. No. This is about, do you have money? Do you have power? And are you going to give us as much as this data center over here is going to get us? No? Then shut the F up and deal with it. I wish I could tell people something other than that. I wish I could tell people like, "Oh, it's going to be okay. Hey, Spartan." I wish I could say like, "Hey, these people care about you." They don't care. Like if it hasn't been apparent before, like if you think I'm talking about gaming, you're right. If you think I'm talking about something, you're also right. If it hasn't been apparent before, it's about to become real apparent real fast because you're like if you're still in the mindset of they care about me as a gamer and they need to give me discounts. If you think like a $4 trillion company, put that in your perspective. $4 trillion company is in the business of giving you discounts. A company that got probably twice that most of that market share recently because of AI and data centers. And you're telling them not to put AI and data centers in their stuff? And you're worried about it being a global left right like nonpartisan you are out your effing mind. I'm sorry you missed that lesson in life. And I'm sorry like this random chick who had like a random bad hair day today has to tell you this. But you need to probably figure out another hobby. You need to figure out like you're like where did life lead you wrong? Who told you that like life is here to coddle you and your hobby? Because Asha about to take that. Let's look at some more of these. Let's look some more of these. Look at this one. Put your player first. Make a great console exclusive games and leave a slop out of it. Oh, poor person. Poor person. Like, I don't like to be right. Like, everything I said was going to happen has happened. And it's not because it's like, oh, I'm some conspiracy theorist. It's because I've been around companies. I've been around organizations. Like, I think some of y'all know what I did in my past. But at one time, what I was I was a consultant, like a strategy consultant that they would bring in after a merger or acquisition, or sometimes when they would split off. I can't think of the name right now. That's why they would bring me in. And so they would bring me in and they would say, like, hey, a lot of times, like if it was a merger or acquisition, like, hey, make this all like work together. Right. And then sometimes they have different like systems and stuff. And so I would have to go through, my team would go through, look at it. Or if it was a divestiture, we would have to like make sure each entity could live on their own. So, typical like business strategy stuff. But every once in a while, like I would be brought in before the deal closed, whatever it was. And they would bring me in because they were like, hey, this is about to happen. And we want you to like tell us like the roadmap, like how long is the transition going to take, blah, 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 because of your expertise and so forth and so on. So I would give it to them. But in those meetings that happen, and these are like very senior business meetings, right? Because like what I'm having to consult on, like I'm being brought in as the business subject matter expert, and I'm giving the executive, most times like a CFO, I'm giving like the chief financial officer, like, hey, this is what the cost is going to be. This is your liability and so forth. And then that person is taking it to shareholders. So, like, basically, my recommendation is going to shareholders. So I know what they're thinking. And I know when they talk about like succession planning, what they're thinking. And I know why they bring in certain people. It's like if you literally there's like 20, if you really boil it down, there's like literally like 20 business strategy cases you can be at. It's really like a small number. Like when you look at across the board, it's like 20. Whether that's cost cutting, whether that's opening a new like market, whether that's buying, whether that's selling, it's like only like 20 possible cases. In this one, from day one, I was like, this is a stupid deal. The only reason I was almost certain Microsoft was going to realize how stupid a deal it was. But they didn't because they were once you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. Once they had committed to like showing the regulators that they were right, they were in too deep. This deal, that deal has broken Xbox. Like, I'm sorry. Let's look at another one. Let's look at another one. Ask gamers what we actually want. Project City and Bethesda to work together and make more Fallout games. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir, that you think this. Obsidian's gonna get closed down. Like, do you realize, like, they aren't there to ask gamers for jack shit. You all still think it's about you. You don't realize it. It's not about you. It's about, do you have enough money for them to care? And I'm sorry, you don't. You just don't. Hey, Wandrew, as long as they make games that are fun, they're not going to make no more games. They're not going to make games, the simpleton. That's what I'm saying. I think Simpleton knows that. Simpleton knows that. The tragedy is this is no longer about games. That's the tragedy. Like yesterday we had Audi come on, and you know, he was talking about Warner Brothers games, and he was like, "Oh, like where's going to happen with the games and blah blah blah." So we had like kind of like an interesting conversation about that. This one is very obvious what's going to happen. They're not making games. Like again, I tell you this. Go look at any of the recent press releases that they've told investors, which if you don't understand, investors are actually the boss of the CEO. Go look at any of those press releases and tell me if video games are in the future. They're not. And especially now where Microsoft ChatGPT or whatever, especially now that that's kind of has started to fall in behind, especially in generative AI, right? Like if you go look at Microsoft, like compared to Gemini and Google, like the crown has shifted. No one is talking about ChatGPT as like, oh, it's going to make all this money. It's going to do all this stuff. That means there's pressure. They're not about to go now make like any software, any computational power that's going towards gaming is computational power that's taken away from AI. Any focus that is not about AI and how to make that scalable, which let me make it very clear, doesn't really have to do with gamers, is a focus away from their actual direction. That's the big deal about this. Like, I haven't been wrong about this. I have not been wrong about Microsoft one time. And I don't think people quite understand the gravity of it. Like, because they're not announcing it like when we look back when Sega said what they said, because like Japanese companies are very upfront about it. Because if Japanese companies mislead the public, they go to jail. Like, have you noticed that? Have you noticed like when Toyota has like a recall, people are like, oh, they're going to jail. Have you seen that? Because it's their culture. So when Sony comes out and says, hey, we're going like yesterday, Crazy Lou is going all off on this. Like they're telling us that they got to offset the price by raising the price on something else. It's like, yeah, because if they lie, they're going to jail. In the United States, we have this like weird thing where it's more about like, hey, if I can get you hyped up, look no further than Tesla. That dude's like the number one hype machine, but there's no consequences. But eventually, investors are going to be like, hey, we gave you a lot of money and you did that ABK deal. That's not really paid off. What are we doing? Like, why are you focused on that? And what was Microsoft? What's Microsoft going to say? They're not going to say anything. They're silent on it. That's why this chick, she ain't not there to make games. She ain't there to be like, hey, let me go to the Games Awards and present an award. We're talking the bombardier to vegetation. Wait, the rain started beating Microsoft from the Activision murder. Interesting. The rain? What do you mean the rain? How do you so will Elder Scrolls 6 ever come out? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. That's why I said all bets are off. Once Sarah Bond left, like I always felt like if Satya Nadella left and Sarah Bond remained, I'd be like, okay, it's the same direction. But once Sarah Bond left, Phil Spencer goes, Matt Booty goes, and you bring in someone who's never even worked with this group before and is a relatively newcomer to Microsoft as a whole, like that's the other thing. This woman's only worked at Microsoft like a hot second, like 18 months. You know what I mean? So her first thing is not like, oh, let me turn this around. Her first thing is like, literally, I'm about to clean house. Literally, I'm about to fire half of you. Like either half of you get on board with what we're trying to do with generative AI, or you go find another job. Doesn't matter to me because I don't know any of you from Adam. So she's going to bring in her, like, because guess what? Like the politics, like corporate politics is like this. Like it's all about relationships. So like if you come in, like usually, especially at an exec level, you're only as valuable as your boss thinks you're valuable. Like there's a point to where it's like, you don't really bring too much expertise. You know, we're not talking like brain surgery here. Right? We're talking like management and numbers, right? So you're only so valuable as much as your like exec thinks you are. So when the entire exec team like gets the F out, like the one that's been there for like, I don't know, the last 7 years, guess what? That entire structure's collapsed. So every single project that those people were working on, every single vision that those people were working on, you might as well like say, okay, what can we salvage? We're going to let that kind of play out. That's cool. But every single penny is not going, no more investment towards that. So if you think like marketing is going to get more money, you're wrong. If you think like, hey, we're going to get like an expansion of like this game, you're probably wrong. Like the things that it's probably easier to just let it continue on, you're going to do. But the ones that where you're like, oh, this thing may, like, we're kind of in a place that we can kind of shelve it and it won't really do anything, or we haven't put the big investment in it yet, that's going to get killed. That's going to get killed. Purple, how do you think this is going to affect the rest of the console industry, Nintendo and PlayStation? So I've always thought this, like, there was a video I did last week where, or not last week, last year, where I always said that it's actually a video. It's not a live stream. I said that Nintendo and PlayStation are much closer together than Microsoft. I always felt like these were like people compare Sony and Microsoft, and I always felt like Nintendo was the better one. And the reason why is because it just has to do with in like Nintendo is a gaming company. You know what I mean? Like if gaming goes down, Nintendo goes down with it. There's like no exit strategy for Nintendo. PlayStation not in the same boat, but PlayStation gaming makes a bigger part of their business. And so they're going to be much more how should I say it? uh, responsible custodians for that because, like, gaming as a whole in Japan makes up a larger portion of the economy in Japan. So it's like this cascading effect. So, in my opinion, Nintendo's gonna double down. Like, that is Nintendo's thing. Nintendo's like, "Yo, we have, like, this console, and this is how you get to our store, and we're kinda profitable like that." Like, in the United States, we have this, like, thing where we have to have, like, infinite money. Other parts of the world aren't like that. Other parts of the world are like, we understand, like, we need to be, like, sustainable in our profitability. Like, we would rather have 10 years of profitability than, like, 2 really big years and then 8 really bad years, right? Like, in the United States, they don't think like that. In the United States, they're like, "Huh, so you're telling me I can make everything in that first year? Let's do it and figure it out later." That's what they do. So I don't think, like, in this regard, it has any impact whatsoever. Like, they're gonna look at it and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, y'all have been making stupid mistakes the entire time." Like, honestly, Xbox has probably made not Xbox, trust me, I think Xbox people did the best they could, but they're under Microsoft. And Microsoft thinks, like I just told you, Microsoft thinks like, "Huh, how can we chase that trend that made all this money?" Not realizing, like, you gotta kinda be in entertainment space, kinda innovative yourself. But innovation takes risk, and giant organizations don't like to take risk. That's what it comes down to. Gaming is on a crash with the way everything is going with everyone's economy. Could be. I'm not gonna lie on that one. I'm not I think that you kinda said everything. You said, Spartan, what you said there that I really want everyone's economy. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. There's a reckoning coming. And, I don't know how it's gonna play out, but there's definitely a reckoning coming. And Wit knows where I stand on this. I think you can only promise, like, the moon for so long before people are like, "Yo, where's the moon?" Like, you can only promise people, like, things are gonna get better for so long until they're like, "Yo, I still don't have a job," or, "Yo, I'm still struggling to pay bills," or, "Yo, my streets are still kinda messed up," or, "Yo, I don't even understand how I'm going to make it now." While we're looking at companies and individuals making money hand over fist, there's only so long before people start to realize, like, "I'm poor, the government's poor, but you're rich, and you're telling me that what you're doing is good for me, but you told me that yesterday and last year." There's a point to where that flips. Like, there's a point to where people who used to, like, give them, like, "Oh, things are gonna get better." There's a point to when people are like, maybe?" I think, like, there's a lot of, like, Xbox diehards who are about to find that out real fast. Don't fear the loss of silent movies, folks. We are going straight to Super Panavision. Once they beat the turning test, the direction was invalid. You won't even fun for the oh my goodness, Marcus. You know I oh, oh my good. Hey, what's going on? Murder. But that's what's gonna go on. Let's look at some more like this is why I'm saying like look, these are the things. I return to Xbox and core fans would mean exclusive games. If you don't have exclusive games, the hardware won't matter. If you like I I get where like people like there's only so many times you can like you need to start realizing that they're playing a different game and you still think you're a piece on the chessboard. You know what I mean? Like there's people here who are no longer on the chessboard, but they still think they're in it. They still think like, "Oh man, I'm we're still in it. They're gonna pick me up eventually. I'm gonna check them, or I'm gonna take that other piece. We're gonna move forward." And you don't realize that you're no longer on the chessboard. You can see the chessboard, but you're over here. They're not touching you anymore. Matter of fact, they're about to put you in the box. You know what I mean? They're about to start playing a totally different game altogether. And that's what, like, if you think I'm talking about gaming, you're right. If you think I'm talking about something else, you're also right. Like I said, I've not been wrong one time on this. I've not been wrong one time on this. The only thing I got was pre the APK deal was how stupid of a deal that was. I was like, what are you doing? No one and their mom is talking about gaming, but y'all are going to bet the farm on it. Stupid. Stupid. Don't worry though. You know, Phil Spencer's going to get a nice little retirement gift. He's trust me, he's doing well. Sarah Bond, she's going to probably become the CEO of some like AI startup. She got a great severance package. I guarantee you Sarah Bond's severance package has 8 digits. I promise you that. Yeah. You think I'm lying? Go look at exec severance packages. I promise you she got 8 digits. And Matt Booty, even though he got a demotion, they're going to just be like, Matt, go over here for the next 2 years, and then eventually you're going to find your way to step down. They're going to be okay. Everybody underneath them, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. We're going to look at a couple more of these because I think these are just crazy. I think these are just crazy. You know what I mean? Us first, Microsoft second, AI third. I mean, when you say us first, I hope you realize, you know what this is like? Because this has always happened. Have y'all ever seen, oh, what is that movie? It takes place like in the Mayans. It's like a new world. It's like Apocalypto. It's called something like that. And there's this scene in which they've captured all these villagers. And they're eventually going to sacrifice these villagers, right? And they're initially like, they don't quite know they're going to get sacrificed. But you look at like the rulers and the priests, and they all kind of know, like, we're sacrificing these people and we're telling them, like, hey, things are going to get better. But they're all like looking at the eclipse, knowing the eclipse is about to come. But it's kind of an interesting movie. Anyway, that's what I feel like is going to happen. These people don't realize, like, you're the sacrifice. The machine has to eat. You don't realize this entire time they were leading you down the corridor, and you thought you were about to get this brilliant feast. You thought they kept telling you that, oh, they're going to put all the food there. Nah, y'all about to get like this. Like I said, this news to me is as big as Sega saying they're not going to make consoles anymore. It's that big. I don't think there's anything over the last 20 years as big as this. Of course, they're not going to announce it like that. They're like, Purple, wouldn't they tell us? No. Why would they tell you? Hey, Aaron. Oh, you think she's Aaron, Apocalypto. Is that the name of it? I just guessed that. I thought it was like that. Aaron, here's the thing about that. She's not the new girl. Like, I want to talk about this for a second. Um, because this is actually also relevant outside to gaming. We're like, oh, look, she's so young. Or, oh, she's no, she's not. The new girl has always been, she was, I guarantee you, this girl, Aisha, I promise you, Aisha comes from a part of society that has always been like the power players. That's why I said this is a feature, not a bug. You'll notice like the people like Mark Zuckerberg, like all these people, they're not like they're not just like picked randomly. It's not like, "Oh, you just got lucky." No. That chick was placed there. That chick was placed there because they said, "You know what? We need someone who looks like you eventually, but we need to know that you're loyal to us." Some of y'all know exactly what I mean. And who do you go for? You're not going to take your chances with some random college graduate, right? You're not going to take your chances with some random person who's built their way up from being poor. You're not going to do that. Because then that person may start talking about like equality and like, hey, we need to help people, give everybody a chance. No, you're tired of that. You want someone who's going to maximize your profitability above everything else. You know, some of you are like, Purple, what are you talking about? This chick's just, no, trust me. Trust me. If y'all think this is about gaming, you're right. If you think it's about something else, you're also right. That chick was placed there because she has one mission and one mission only, to make Microsoft money. And not just to make Microsoft money, to make Microsoft stakeholders money. They weren't going to take their chance with some like she's an outsider, right? Like think about it. She just got to Microsoft. Think about her career. Let me put this in perspective. Her career, that chick was a VP by 7 years outside of college at a multi-billion dollar Facebook company. No. This chick was on the fast lane. This chick couldn't fail if she tried. That's who they got. Injustice bomb? It's not injustice. I'm just telling you. That's not even an investor. It's a totally different class. It's a totally different class of people. I don't think people quite understand. Like, there is a class of people that like is so wealthy. And they saw something, then they were like, no, Aisha, Aisha's ready to rule. Let's give Aisha her first company to see how she does. That's how that conversation went. You're like, Purple, your conspiracy theory. Nah, I just seen it enough times. I've seen it enough times. I went to school with these people. I know what kind of clubs they go to. I know who their friends are. And there was a time where I actually believed, in like if you put hard work in, like it'll be seen. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That's why I'm like, everything about this, just everything about it, from the person they put in, to what happened to the former group, to how much, like, on paper this whole deal, like, organization makes, everything to me points towards this chick is about to just, like, wreck house. Xbox didn't fund me for back when Stadia was alive. They at least cared about gamers. Now, not so much. Here's the thing: they had a mask. All right. So, like, and I wanted. So, I'll talk to you all about the job I had after consulting. I'm telling you all a lot about, like, my like, why I have the opinion I have. My job after consulting was I was part of that mask, right? They would see people like me out because what I could do is I could go out to communities, right? Like, I'm very racially ambiguous, right? I hit a bunch of, like, different boxes. I come from a certain background. So, like, I can go out to a community and I'm really good at getting people to believe things. Like, now you're starting to see, like, my military, like, my business knowledge, like, and I'm able to take, like, very complex topics and I can break it down, right? It's like kind of thing I do. But what I can do really, really well is I could get communities to believe that what the really, really big corporations were doing was going to help us all, right? And I did it really, really well because I believed it. I was like, yeah, like, they're doing this really well and it can help us all. All, like, the tide lifts all boats. And I could go and I would talk and I would be there and I would build all these relationships. And, like, depending on where I went, they would be like, oh my God. And it's like, tell us more, tell us more, tell more. And eventually, something happened. Eventually, because, my moral compass points north, and I'm all about integrity because of my military background, and prior to that, other stuff I did, like, I really believed in stuff. But eventually there was a time where I saw the company do something, and I said, "No, that's not that's not gonna go over well with the community. Like, this isn't in the same frequency. Like, we've been telling them this, but you're now doing this. It's gonna be hard for me to communicate. That doesn't go with the story." You know what I mean? And they then said, "Okay, do it anyway." And then I pushed back again. I said, "Hey, hey, hey, this isn't gonna, like, trust me. I know the community. I know what I'm talking about." And they said, "All right, Purple, do it your way. But we want to make sure that eventually they get on board with what we want to do." So I said, "All right, it's going to take me like a year to communicate this because I got to change the boat here. I got to redirect it." And so, in midway of redirecting it, they came back to me and they said, "Hey, Purple, we're going to let you go because you didn't do what we told you to do." And I said, "Wait a second. Yeah, I did. You told me to get them on board." And they're like, "No, no, no. You didn't do it fast enough." I said, "Well, I told you it was going to take a year." And they're like, "Exactly. You were supposed to do it then. Thank you." That's when I realized very clearly that you're only useful as a mask. And these companies use these masks to get you to believe that we're in this together. And then once I saw that, once I experienced that, I could never unsee it. Because I know the tricks that people use. I know the language they use. I know the numbers that they have to report and then how they spin those numbers. Because those are the tricks I did. Those are the tricks I train people on. Those are the tricks that were honed to me in the military when I was in Iraq and Afghanistan. And then I went and I got it to do it in business. And then I worked in communities. I know it because I was fluent in it. So now when I look at it and I see these people and I'm like, do you not realize what the F's about to happen? And that's why I try to tell people, but what I've come to realize is people don't want the right answer. They just want to feel comfortable. They want to just be ignorant. That's what I figured out. But it's just not in me to like, I'm like, I don't know. All I can do is tell you, and then when you get screwed, that's on you. Hey, what's going on, Chairman? Phil Spencer saved the Xbox. I think you're right. I think Phil Spencer did the best he could with the hand he was dealt. I think you're exactly right, Spartan. I spoke with the old Xbox lead, Ellen, how do you pronounce that? Exploding Kittens guy. And he said the arm doesn't talk to the head at Microsoft. They would fund his stuff and in the next week from another arm. Yeah, but I believe now they do. I think as long as there's other distractions, Xbox was able to do what they wanted to do. But once ABK got so big, Bethesda was big, but ABK was too big. Now you had the people looking at you because that put a really bad spotlight on the people. Is what I'm going to call them, the people. Because now you went up against a government agency. If you don't know this, like most people who are in like government regulation, they're there to help you. These are people like me who've seen it. We're like, no, we see the trick you're doing. You got more resources, you got more marketing, but the truth isn't on your side. Given enough time, the truth will come out. And this ABK deal, given enough time, it's come out. But I've told you all more about like my background in this conversation than I think I've done over the last 4 years. Y'all want to know, like, how do you know this stuff? It's because I had to. It's because I'm fluent in like the mass, in corporate talk, in corporate speak. I'm fluent in look over here, not over here. Because I have to understand this so I can tell you this. So when I get a question and someone's like, yeah, but what about that? I could be like, oh, great, you asked that. And then I can like twist it. That was my job. That was my job to like actually go talk to legal teams and policy teams and our foundation teams and our product teams, because I had to know exactly where the line was between what was plausibly true and what was a lie, because I would get so close to that line. And then I would have to ask legal. I would be like, legal, is this illegal for me to say this? And then I would have to work with my policy teams to be like, am I going to get in trouble with your stakeholders if we put this out? That's what I had to do. And then I would have to talk to our community teams and be like, okay, what is the feeling on the ground? What do they know about us? Where do they think the narrative is? And then I would do what I did. I got paid a lot of money for that. A ton of money for that. Until one day, the people who used me as a mask realized at the end of the day, I cared more about the people than these people than I did those people. And those people were the ones that were saying, "But we need you for us." And once they realized that I wasn't fully on board with what they were doing, that's when they plotted. I didn't catch it till later. So this is why I know this is why I know what's gonna go on with it. Now, startup totally different. When you're working with startups and founders and those people they have a different whole different genre. But you talking about these people, I know these people like the back of my hand. And so now we're in this situation with Asia. And like whatever y'all do, like I said, I've already went over for like an hour. Um, I didn't mean to go this long. I know Jeff is streaming right now. A couple other people are streaming. But I wanted to get this out because I think there's gonna be a lot of like the console war people who are gonna be like bickering and like saying stuff. And but I wanted to get this out because some of you already know this and some of you don't. Um, but next time just look. Like take the framework I just gave you. Like, right, take the framework of like when they clean house, take the framework of like when they pivot from like their big grand like announcements, you know, start to look at it for like just humor yourself, even if you disagree with me. Even if you disagree with me. Simpleton. Is that what you think it was? It wasn't to get you, it's because I didn't want it's in order for us to sell, in order for us to do what we gotta do with the community, it was gonna take a year because we were telling them something totally opposite, and then we flipped on them. That's what happened. I was like, "I can't do that overnight. I can't do that overnight. You're gonna ruin my credibility." And that's when they said, "Yeah, your credibility. Our credibility is more important to us than you." And then that's when they said, "Ah, she ain't part of the program. She has all this in her background. She ain't part of the program." And that's what happened. But yeah, take what I said, try to apply it like anywhere else. Like I'm telling you, once you see it, once you've experienced it, you can't unsee it. You know who the people are, you know what they look like because they all look the same. You know kind of how they talk, you kind of know how what they say, you kind of know the background they have. And you're like, "Oh my goodness, they brought in a revolutionary, someone a fresh face." And you're like, "No, no, she's a fresh face to you because you're not in the crowd. But that chick was anointed a long time ago." Yeah, I don't even think that, man. I don't even think that. I don't think that's what they're saying. I think what they're looking at is like, how can we they want to catch where Google is in generative AI. That's why. They're like, everybody else left gaming. Why are we still in gaming? I think that's what they want to do. They want to have something that prints money like Apple and Google. Like their play stores just print money. Like Google doesn't like spend anything on gaming, really, but they make billions of dollars. So the powers to be were like, we want to be like that. So good luck. Good luck. Like I said, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Game Pass uh, uh eventually just becomes something totally different. Like maybe not, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. Anything that you remotely thought was Xbox is like it is open game. And it's not to say they're going to change everything, but with the leadership shakeup that they just did, like, and I mean like shakeup, not like one person. I mean like three, like your entire team that they just did. To me, that means that like new sheriff, new army, new whatever you want to call it is in town. and it's not the one you thought it was. So, but thanks for coming by, y'all. Hopefully, I see some people came through. I'll be in Zalek stream. Zalek, is she streaming today? Audi or Zalek, I'll be in one of their streams today. And I think Jeff's still streaming, so I'll try to check him out. Back. All right, Rouse, I'm just about to head out, though. But yeah, I just want to get that out there. Thanks all for coming by. And as always, I don't care where you game, how you game, why you game, what you game on, how long you've been gaming. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. And as always, this is Purple Haze. She's a hot blade. And no, this is not Purple Haze, and she's hot. And I'm looking forward to seeing her pursue Internet and Marcus. But yeah, as always, Purple Haze, and the proof is in the plane. Oh, at the end of the day, if Microsoft stops making and gets rid of Game Pass, I have $30 more a month to pay some indie company on Steam free. Simpleton, I say do it now. Simpleton, I say do it now, man. I say do it now. I don't know. Game Pass would be pretty big, but I'm just telling you, it's all there, man. Hey, thanks, Wit. Hey, Cowboy, what's going on? I missed it. If you want to talk afterwards, Cowboy. All right, thanks for putting it in, roster. Cowboy wants to talk? Cowboy, do you want to talk? If Cowboy wants to talk, I'll keep it open. But if not, or if one of y'all want to talk, I'll keep it open. I normally would. I'm going to shut it down. So if y'all want to talk, I'm going to shut it down. But we got Audi right now, so I do want to give him respect. But if one of y'all want to talk, I'll come on if you want to push it forward. But if not, I'm going to leave this open and then put it behind the member thing after like 3 days. But yeah, if you want to push back on anything, I'm more than willing to talk up through it. But with that said, all right, I'll see y'all. Zalek is at a barbecue. All right, cool. Okay. Well, I will talk to y'all later, and I will see you all on the next one. All right, take care, y'all. Later. Let's of rock. What? Cowboy, if you're gonna start this, what? I don't know what Let's of Rock means, but I'm gonna do my ending screen, and if by the end of the ending screen nothing happens, we're done. Okay. All right. Talk to y'all later. We'll do it. If y'all have to leave, we'll leave. But he's here. He's here. All right, we'll do this for 15 minutes. We're going to 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 do this for 15 minutes. What is that? What is that? I don't know what that is. Hold on. What is that? There we go. What is that? Oh, I know what that is. I know what that is. Someone's talking to me about a Goodwill. I know what that is. Is that him? Oh my goodness. I know what that is. I know what that is. If he's here, we'll see. But he has to hop on soon. He has to hop on soon. Cowboy, what's going on? Cowboy, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
Oh my goodness, you're at a restaurant.
Oh, can't see it. Oh, let me make this a little
Okay, this man brought us
better.
here. This man
I'm
brought us
sorry,
here.
but listen, I didn't even know you was doing anything, and I was just sitting at Panera Bread. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I was at Panera Bread, and I literally turned on YouTube to go finish watching your video from last night, and then I seen you was on. I'm like, wait a minute. So I had a feeling you were talking about what you're talking about, and so I just want to chime in real quick. You know, you got a couple minutes, and wow. So first, let me say this: I'm watching your show, and Crazy's on, right? And he's going on. And he was like, the next time Microsoft has some bad news, I'm gonna be back. And I'm like, that ain't age well at all. So he better be on Thursday. That's all I know.
He's not
But
coming.
and you can hear me. You can hear me good. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So be quiet, girl. So I'm not saying it's like over, right?
it's over.
But it's funny because people were saying Murder was like, didn't you call that? I was like, no, Purple was the one that said watch Phil retired. Like she said it. So it's kind of crazy to see this all happen. But guys, I just want you to know, for all the Microsoft people,
Nah, man, Calvin.
for all the Xbox fans. All right. So what you think though? Because think about it.
No,
I thought Sarah bombed.
no, I just did a whole video.
I thought Sarah bombed.
I just did a whole video. So this is my thing. Like,
Okay.
I just did a whole video, so I'd be curious. But and so I just got done talking like a whole hour on it.
All right.
But this is the biggest news since Sega decided not to make consoles and games. This is about.
Whoa. Remember when Phil what's his name from Stadia?
Phil,
Phil
that guy, yeah.
Phil
Not Spencer.
that guy. Remember he ended up moving back to, he lived in Europe, but he ended up moving back to, we found out he moved back to Europe, and people was like, is he leaving Stadia? Is he done? That was a big deal.
No,
I mean, Stadia was only around for like 3.5 years, but
this is big. This is big. And I feel like this is, and I just done talking to the entire chat here. I feel like this is literally like, I don't think
okay. So what does this mean? So
comparison.
Phil retires. Sarah Bond's out. You get somebody who comes in that's not really gaming, right?
Yeah.
So what does it mean though? Like
transition.
What you
We're gonna transition the entire business. Like
okay.
Don't get me wrong, I don't think it'll be overnight. That's not her, like it's
okay.
like that. But I would say, as I was telling other people, like they're gonna sell if they can. But to me, if you look at like what a game studio actually has, it interacts in like media world. Like if you think about it, like the same kind of technology there, you have artists, you have that type of stuff. That's really valuable in like generative AI. And so like I believe like this, they're gonna turn that into like some type of like thing to where Cowboy can create his own game. You know what I mean? Like I think it's gonna turn into something totally different. So
you know what's crazy? Just yesterday I was watching, somebody showed me a video of Kratos fighting Thor in AI. It was Dodge Man. He was like, this is the best AI yet. And I was like, this is so crazy because it looks so real and so good, and they got the same people voices. I was like, at this point, just get somebody to make a movie. Like, you know how sometimes you wish they did this in a movie and then they don't, right? Like, actually, I seen somebody AI the ending of Stranger Things. They changed it to their own ending because people complained, right? And I was like, it was so good. I mean, obviously, it was a little choppy and stuff, but it was so good with the people faces and voices. So I said this yesterday. I said, I know people don't like AI in gaming, but dude, at this point, just AI me a game I want. Like, I'm a big fan of Prototype. They have yet to make a prototype-ish game. Dude, maybe, I know AI is the devil, but if you could give me what I want. Anyway, but the thing is, Xbox can have too much IP, right? They would have to disperse, sell. It's just too much.
I think so. This is what I was saying in the beginning. I think gamers drastically, they do one or two different things, and both are possible. You either think they care more about you, like you are more important to them than you actually are.
Okay.
Or you
wait. You mean the perspective of the gamers think the companies think we're valuable?
Yeah. Like they don't care about
you. I think some gamers do. Yeah, no, not at all. But no, what I'm saying is if Xbox is gonna dissolve, right? It's gonna like when I was listening to you talking about the Netflix and the WB and all that, right? So when you think of when you switch it over to gaming and Microsoft, with ABK deal and Bethesda, there's giant, massive IPs. Like overnight, or not overnight, but it's gonna you gotta do something with that. That's in the gaming in the history of gaming. Just say the word Call of Duty. Now I know they didn't do that good recently, but still, you can't just like you got to sell it. You gotta do something.
No. So like I said, it's not gonna be overnight. That's why I say like right now to me is like I think the Sega thing was like one day you had Sega and everybody was talking about Sega, and then the next day Sega, like it was like instantaneous because
you're right.
Japanese like other companies are like, this is what we're doing. The United States, we do something like where we're like, and I told like you're gonna have to listen back to this because I told the most I've ever told about my
I will.
My professional career, like why I think the way I think, and so like what they're gonna do is they're gonna gradually.
So Purple, real quick, I don't want to switch it, but are you talking about the career that Holt's dad and I know you do, or something different?
That's what I did afterwards. I said so like.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, go ahead. Inside.
There's a reason I pay for dinner with dollar bills. No, I'm joking.
Hey.
Yeah. So like no, but going back to that, ultimately, like no, it's not going to be instantaneous. It's going to be gradual. But like I don't even know shit.
I mean, healthy. I'm at Panera Bread.
Oh my goodness, stop it.
All right. Got my super.
So, but
look, hey, Purple, I'm trying to get ready for 50.
Stop it.
You'll be there in like 22 years.
Okay, I'll remember that. But
all right, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So they're not gonna do it automatically overnight. They're gonna like gradually change it. But like, I just say it like this, like. You have 2 years of like there's senior executives talking to shareholders, talking to investors.
Okay.
How many times have they mentioned like Fable in those conversations? How many times have they mentioned Elder Scrolls in those conversations? How many times they don't mention it? The reason they don't mention it. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, what people forget? This was like maybe 4 years ago or 3 years ago. They was like by 2027. If Game Pass don't have a certain amount of subscribers, they might be trying to get out of the game. They did say that.
I'm telling you,
that's next year. That is next year.
I'm just telling when you clear the entire house. This is what I was telling you before you just got on. Getting rid of if you had got rid of Satya Nadella and kept Sarah Bond, I wouldn't be worried. But when you get rid of Sarah Bond. And you get rid of the entire. You didn't just get rid of Phil Spencer. You didn't just get rid of Sarah Bond. You got rid of Matt Booty. You got rid of every single person who was a spokesperson for the brand over the last 5 years. You got rid of them all, right? If you look at the Microsoft, trial for ABK, you got Amy Hood, who's the CFO, Satya Nadella, and then everybody else who spoke on ABK is gone. Everybody who spoke on Game Pass is gone. Everybody who spoke about cloud and gaming is gone. Everybody who spoke about the future of Xbox is gone. So then when you think about that, who they're putting in, you think that person's going to be like, oh, yeah, let me pick up where they started off. No. When that person comes in, they're going to be like, I have my marching orders, especially this young chick who's never been in gaming.
Right. No. Well, so they didn't make a... I'm just waiting for like a official statement. Like I'm waiting for well, I don't know. Like, are they gonna give like a?
No.
You know how they do little videos.
No, that's why I said like you got to listen to the video of what I did. That's why I'm like they're not gonna do it. They're gonna get someone like Purple right? Who like I
Mhm,
was a mask. I was like the person who would be the one who would plan like the
mhm.
strategies to say like the company's doing this, but I want you to focus over here and make you think you're getting something.
Gotcha.
That's my job. Wit knows exactly what I did. So Ambi knows exactly what I did. And so
Mhm.
a couple other people in chat know exactly what I did. So in my opinion, like that's just kind of like I can just see. I'm like, oh man, they're really. I don't know Panetta Barrett. I don't know Panetta Barrett.
What?
Alana
Okay.
Pierce says there's
So
unlikely to be any
wait,
more consoles from anyone. I don't know about that.
give me like a. So what do you? Okay, so for you on the business side, do you think this is their final like we've been thinking about this exit and we need to make an exit, and so within the next so much, you think?
It's going to be a pivot. It's going to be a pivot. They
Okay.
because they still have like you kind of hit on something before. There's still money to squeeze out.
Yes. Yes.
So there's gonna be a pivot. But what I'm saying is there's money to
Mhm.
squeeze out. And I said this before. For every dollar you put into Xbox, you roughly get $1.07 back, $1.05 back. Okay.
Okay.
So that's not too bad. Like if you have $1, you put it in the machine and you get $1.05 back, you're like, that's pretty good. For every
Right.
dollar I put into cloud, I get $1.40 back. So eventually you're going to be like, which one would you do if you had $100 and you've been putting $100 in this machine that gives you
Right.
105 back? Are you going to keep putting it into the machine that gives you 105, or are you going to put it in the machine that gives you 140?
And then also so how I think they're so how are they doing with their AI though?
Their AI does really like
I think
that's ChatGPT. So that's what I
right.
also mentioned happened over the last year. ChatGPT fell
Hmm.
behind Google
Hmm.
Google Gemini. You use Gemini.
Right.
And so if you
Right.
look in just what you just said, hey, they were able to make Chronos and blah 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 in the AI. You can't make all that in ChatGPT. You can't tell ChatGPT, make me a funny XYZ image. You can't do that, right?
Right.
Google, you can literally tell Google if you have the subscription, make me a quick video that shows Mario jumping over Mount Everest. And it
Right.
can do it. And so it shows that people are, and then Google, you can do it all over your phone. So when you go on your phone, do you just
Mhm.
do, hey, Gemini, blah, 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 or do you do ChatGPT? No, you're going to do Gemini because it's already like integrated into your phone. So
Right.
Microsoft, when this whole AI thing picked up, Microsoft was leading. We were talking all about ChatGPT, but now we're seeing
Mhm.
that actually just answering just answering something isn't that's like kind of table stakes. You want your Kronos versus Godzilla. And so
Mhm.
guess what? You're gonna go to the AI that has Kronos versus Godzilla. And if you're
And just say Kratos. All right.
oh
I'll be
great,
butchering his name.
yeah, put some
All right.
respect.
Cool.
So you're gonna go to Kratos versus Godzilla. Well,
Right.
guess what? The AI that Microsoft has doesn't have that.
Mhm.
But you do have a part of your company that creates stuff. So
Right.
you're going to say, "Hey, you all, am I going to say keep building Elder Scrolls 6 or create that thing that can do what the other AI does?"
Yeah, but so it's hard because I feel like there's 3 games, right? That was a big deal before Microsoft, Xbox being acquired, and their most recent versions just happen to be. I don't know if it's the Xbox tech. I don't know if it's Voodoo. I don't know if it's being jinxed. But this Call of Duty is the worst performing Call of Duty. This Ninja Gaiden, as a fan of Ninja Gaiden, was not good. This Doom was not good. I'm like, dude, and I don't like why is everything when it comes on the Xbox is just not good. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It's not. It does look crazy.
But that's just like and so what I when you go back and listen to it from the beginning, like I lay it
Mhm.
out,
Definitely will.
like I lay it out kind of in this way that just says Like I show all these messages from Twitter where gamers are like, "Oh, just do this." And I'm like, "You don't get it. They don't care about you. Like they like you're not the one they want. Like
Right.
you're talking about gaming, and they're like, you only gave us $1.04. We put $1. You
You know
gave
what?
us $1.04.
It's kind of like what you said about PC. Like it's like they don't listen. The people who really spending big money on these chips, it ain't the gamers.
No, it's the same. But and that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like the people who I don't know how to explain. I don't want to repeat. Some people have been in chat the whole time. But
I got you. Yeah. I'm gonna watch it back. I just wanted to jump in here.
Yeah,
and,
but ultimately,
say what's up.
there's literally is two groups of people: the people who are like
Right.
are control things, and the people who either think they're in the in crowd or are really not in the
Right.
in crowd. And
Right.
the people who control things are letting you know right now, like, oh, wait a second, we've been
Right.
we put $1 in and we got $1.01 back. That's exactly what happened this year.
Right.
Put $1 in and we got $1.01 back. And all the big money, I'm talking like hundreds of billions of dollars.
Right. Right.
Like, I'll just say it like this. When you have a technology that they're saying, Marcus G. Knight will say this. Hey, Crow. Marcus G. Knight will know this. When you have a technology that says, we're going to displace 90% of the jobs in 4 years, right? That's what they're saying. Like AI is going to displace 90%. Whether or not that's true or not, that's what they're saying.
Right. Right. Projection.
So investors are going to be like, oh, that's super monumental. That's really big. So are you going to start doing more of that? Or are you going to be like, we're going to have a game called Elder Scrolls 6 that the game
well, Elder Scrolls 6 is gonna be a big deal. I feel like they kind of have to make that, right? It's certain stuff that I feel like you kind of want to check off. Well, I'm just
yeah. You're gonna like shift.
Well, like you said, yeah. You're like, hey, bro, you're like, hey, hold up, I gotta, maybe I can get $1.02 back. If I do this a little bit.
Exactly. But you get what I'm saying? They're gonna be like, like, oh, we have Game Pass at $12 to $14, and like no one is talking about that. Like no one is like, oh yeah, you have a subscription service for games. Why don't you get over with the rest of the program where this company who had OpenAI hasn't sold anything yet. It is valued at $700 billion. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not. It like when you start to understand like the way they think,
right?
You start to realize like I don't care if gamers are so pissed off at me.
So let me ask you this: in your opinion, what do you think is the most profitable strategy for the Xbox brand?
What most profitable strategy?
Correct to them, yes.
Hey, AMD and anybody else who wants to use our thing, we're going to charge you 10% of whatever sale you make off of that. That's the most profitable strategy. All I need is a few people to sign the contract, and you do all the work. That's the
so meaning you let people. We're just still talking about video games, right?
Whatever you want to do it with. If you want to put Xbox in a car, go right ahead. If you want to put Xbox on a refrigerator, go right ahead. If you want to make it Xbox Timex, go right ahead. As long as we get a little bit of money from that and don't have to do anything, you go do whatever you want. You want to look at Master Chief, go right ahead.
So then you think, remember when they was getting rid of a bunch of IP and they was shutting down a bunch of studios. You think we're going to see a lot of that coming onward?
Yes. Or it's going to be a silent shut off. It's going to be what game companies have always done, right? When they got ABK and everybody's like, oh, they get to revitalize all these franchises. ABK never said, oh, we officially killed that. No, they're just going to be like, put that over there. And if somebody wants to use it, no problem.
Mm.
Here you
Wow.
go. That's
I've
that's the
covered
most, that's the most profitable thing for them to do.
I've had
You let
so
someone
many
else take all the risk.
I've had so many streams of Xbox is dead because of this. Xbox is dead because of that. But man, Phil Spencer, that's
No, like,
crazy. I mean,
look, as I said on the stream, the only thing I was wrong with Microsoft over the last 4 or 5 years is I did not think they were so stupid to go through with the ABK deal. I thought when they were going to be given a lifetime to get out of it, that they would have
Right.
realized they were stupid. Everything else about it, I've been exactly right about this.
right.
And I like
Yeah.
this one, I'm like, I just know what's going to happen. And so, am I saying Game Pass is going to die? Like, I'm not going to go that far. What I am going to say
Right.
is, whatever you thought you were inviting to the party, whoever you thought you were inviting to the party named Xbox, when you sent that invitation out, when the party comes, the person who's going to have your invitation that says Xbox is not the person you invited. Like, that's what I mean. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, whoever you thought was Xbox, you might as well be like a Jerry Springer special with them sitting down and being like, and they're a man. Like, it's going to be
Right.
like that.
She's marrying a cow.
Yeah, something like that.
Right.
Like, you're like, I never knew it was a tree. They stood
Right.
tall, dark, and handsome, but it's a tree? And you're like, yes, it's
Wow.
a tree. So
That's wild. Well, I don't want to hold you too much longer, but what me and Sandy was doing before we came to dinner, was playing Reanimal. So that was cool. We played.
Right? Like, they don't even compare it to, like, they're totally different in my opinion.
Yeah.
Reanimal.
I feel like I see the similarities and I see where the differences are too. But I'm looking to see. Did you beat it yet?
No.
Okay, yeah, we're in the beginning, so but
Yeah.
we're trying to. I heard it was short though, so we might try to see if we can beat it this weekend. But
Yeah.
listen, thanks for holding this open a little bit longer. Sorry that I happened to be out, but
Well, thanks for coming
I
on.
just wanted to jump
Oh,
in there
Sandy,
real
said
quick.
hi. Hey, Sandy.
Yeah.
Hello,
Sandy.
Sandy.
I was saying, hey,
Hey, Sandy. How are you? Sorry, interrupted date night. All right, let me
Panera
go.
Bread. Come on, Purple. Hold up, where is it?
Someone got a heart attack drinking that stuff. Someone got literally a heart attack by drinking that.
Really?
Yeah, someone was drinking the banana bread tea, and they got a heart attack and died.
That's wild.
Like, look it up. Like, banana bread
Right.
tea death. They died. That's serious.
Okay. Well, good thing I'm not drinking tea.
All right. See y'all.
All right, take care. Later, guys.
All right, later. All right. I don't care where you game, how you game, why you game, what you game on, as long as you're gaming, you're good with me. And as always, this is Purple Haze, and the proof is in the plane. All right. Take care, y'all. And I will see you on the next one. Okay, later. Now we're going to really end it. Okay, later.